Hello, everyone. My guest today is Andy Jedynak. As Client Point's president and CEO, he's a seasoned venture-backed high-growth leader with extensive board and operational experience. He's led the growth of large-scale digital media, SaaS, IoT, mobile, and app businesses in the B2C and B2B sectors. Andy began his business career at NBC GE after completing a successful career as a professional basketball player in Europe. Andy, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, thanks for joining. So loop in Brian real quick. You're obviously president and CEO. What's Brian do?
So Brian leads our sales and marketing, and we're together today talking to clients. So I thought we'd both hop on with you.
That's great. Okay, Client Point. Tell us about the company. What's the company do and how do you make money?
All right. So Client Point is your digital wingman for your real world relationships. And business relationships are obviously important. They're everything. So as you grow your business and get new clients and get new partners, we create a custom website for every one of your sales prospects. Doing it is dead simple, drag and drop, lightning fast and organized. But it really what it is, it includes all the documents you've developed to help you sell. Videos, agreements, marketing materials, animations, even AR, VR content, e-signature, everything you need to help build the relationship, close the deal. You throw that up on a Client Point for that relationship and boom, higher close rates, shorter sales cycles, less proposal errors, it costs you business. Plus for our smaller clients, because it looks so beautiful to have this Client Point as part of your sales process, they're getting bigger deals. It really makes them look really, really great. So while you're doing the real work, talking to your prospect, to your client in the real world, we do all the work to support that relationship, all aggregated together in one simple place, all the stuff you exchange and work on together. Super easy, point and click.
And Andy, how do you price? So how do you price? Sorry to cut you off, but I want to get as much as possible. How do you price the product?
Sure. So it's typical B2B SaaS pricing. So we charge per seat per month.
Okay. And what do you charge per seat per month?
For clients, we also have a tiered structure.
And Andy, what do you charge per seat per month typically?
On average, our clients pay $75 per seat. The larger ones pay a little bit more, the smaller ones pay a little bit more, the larger ones pay quite a bit less.
So would you self-select yourself in kind of the mid-market SMB or enterprise space?
So we're the number one rated proposal automation for enterprise. So we're in about a dozen verticals in the enterprise space, a lot of major clients that people have heard of, but we have a lot of small business clients. We have a lot of medium-sized business as well.
Interesting. Okay, put this on a timeline for us. When did you launch the company? What year?
So the company started 10 years ago. It was actually built to scratch its own itch.
It's a hell of a time. 2008 is a hell of a time to launch a company.
I know. Well, the origin story is incredible. So the company actually started as part of a facility services company that was in trouble because a lot of the biggest global players were trying to move into their territory. They needed to figure out how to look really, really big. So what they did was they developed this proposal automation for their own company. They did it for 2 years. They beat back the global competition, which is actually our clients today. So they actually became our clients. And then in 2010, we launched it, made the product available. And ever since then, we've been cooking it.
So who led the spin out? Were you at the manufacturing company first and spun it out or what?
No, actually, I just joined. Brian did as well. We both just joined at the beginning of the year. So the client we spun out last year, we were formerly called Paperless Proposal. We spun out, we rebranded as Client Point. At the beginning of this year, Brian and I joined together, and we've had a great year.
Hold on. I missed the connect to Paperless. Paperless, is it proposal or pipeline?
Yeah, Paperless Proposal was our former name for many years. So a lot of your listeners may have heard of us as that.
Why'd you change?
We changed it because we're really a lot bigger than just the idea of a paperless proposal. Our mission is to digitally super empower business relationships. Part of it is dating, getting married, as two companies together, and a proposal is part of it. But we're really the platform where you have your relationship between you and your prospect, ultimately you and your client. Client Point is a lot more fitting to that. Paperless Proposal is very kind of a narrow description that doesn't fit where we're headed.
And what? Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, back in 2008, Paperless Proposal was kind of innovative. But now if you mention the name Paperless Proposal, the quick objection you get is, hey, we're already paperless. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was important that we changed for that reason too.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's always a catalyst when a new president or CEO is coming in, and Brian, you're coming in too. What was the catalyst at the beginning of this year? Why'd you guys come in?
Well, the company clearly saw that that we have a product that is very well respected. The customers, the clients we have in many industries love it, and it's rated very highly. the market seemed right to be able to grow. So the board and the founders, the chairman, Lawrence Abrams, decided it was time to really go hit the market hard. The vector was going to be great, and so they decided to make the decision and brought folks like us in, and we've got a lot of background in growing companies, so we did it.
You say board, I think VC. Has the company raised a bunch of traditional capital? It's all from the former company plowing money in.
Yeah, no VC capital yet. We've got, right now we're in the midst of a convertible round. One of the board members brought in the first $250,000 of that convertible round. When we started to build the team here at the beginning of the year, they decided to double it. And since then, we brought in more convertible investors, all but one of which are actually clients of Client Point. So we're up to $900,000. We're going to $1.5 million, and then we're going to do a $5 to $7 million round in Q2 of next year.
So just to be clear, you've raised $950,000 today on a convertible note. You're letting that roll to 1.5. Does that have a strong close date, or no, it's infinite until you hit 1.5?
Yeah, it's going to close pretty quickly. We see that it's going to probably close by the end of January, maybe February.
Well, does it? But I'm saying, what is the trigger to the closing? Is it a date, or is it when you hit 1.5?
It's when we hit 1.5.
Okay, so this could technically roll infinitely if you never hit 1.5.
It could.
Yeah.
I would. Right now, our pipeline, it has us. I don't think we have a problem circling that and getting that done.
No, I get that, by the way. What I'm saying, though, is there are a lot of people that roll convertible notes. And what happens is it creates a really weird dynamic between the person that first put the first dollar in the note a year ago, right, that took way more risk than where the company's at today when I put $1 in, because it's less risky. You've proven some growth, but they're all on the same terms. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, actually, great question, great point, and it's good for your listeners. We've laddered up the notes. So it's actually in 3 different tranches at 3 different valuations.
Oh, I see. 3 different caps.
Absolutely.
Do you also change the discount rate as you go up?
No, we kept the cap going up. The discount rate, the interest rate stays the same all the way through.
Interesting model. Okay, very good. So, that's how you're capitalizing the company. And what's the team size today? How many people?
We currently have 25 full-time people and a whole lot of contractors.
Okay. And when you say a whole lot, I mean, what are we talking?
I would say 12, 13 contractors today.
So the 25 full-time, where's everyone based?
We have the sun never sets on Client Point. So we're on East Coast, West Coast, Philippines. We are in India, Pakistan, Poland, and we're based here in Southern California.
So kind of remote, all over the place.
Most of the people are here, but we do have various people, especially client service folks, and then a lot of we had an incredible developer team in India and Pakistan.
Interesting. And then talk to me about churn. Churn's critical in any SaaS company. What's your guys' churn rate today, and how do you make sure to keep it low?
Oh, okay, we're getting.
It's okay, Andy. I'll repeat it. Churn's critical in any SaaS company. What's your churn today, and how do you keep it low?
The churn is, I think, fantastic. It's one of the reasons I joined the company a year ago. It's 1.25%, most of which from a lot of the smaller companies.
Hold on, sorry. Is that per month or per year?
1.25% per month.
Okay, and is that revenue or logo?
That is revenue and logo about the same. The revenue churn, MRR, is slightly lower than the logo churn. But when you look at the logos that have turned out, they tend to be the small businesses that are more volatile anyway.
Okay.
We haven't lost a Fortune 500 company in over a year and a half.
So 1.25% a month is about 15% logo churn per year. You're saying revenue churn's about the same, or maybe a little less, call it 13, 14%, because it's basically all the same ARPUs. Talk to me about expansion triggers. And maybe Brian, this is a question for you since you're leading sales. Do you guys have strong pricing axes that allow you to drive upsells pretty aggressively, or is expansion not a real growth driver for you right now?
Everything's a growth driver for us right now. Expansion's a huge deal. A lot of times with a company like ours, we're starting off with little pilot programs because we're coming on to a company that's been around for a long time. Now when we close deals, it's more of a global rollout. But we've got a lot of companies, huge companies that Andy and I walked into with pilot programs that we're now building a case for a bigger rollout. And of course, tiered pricing is a part of that.
And what allows you to drive the upsell? Is it adding seats? Is it a usage-based upsell? Is it just a product module-based upsell? What is it?
Yeah, so it would be a seat upsell.
Okay, that's your only leverage, is this per seat model? You just add more seats?
Well, we actually have another pretty major strategy of expansion. that in talking to our clients over the last year and getting an MVP together, we think it's probably going to be a larger part of the business. So it is a product expansion. We're not ready to disclose it yet, but when we talk in 6 months, hopefully again, we can tell you more about it.
Okay. So per seat obviously is a strong upsell, but like the most powerful upsells you see out there are actually utility and data-based ones. So HubSpot, it's number of contacts. Cloud Checker, it's percent of cloud spend. You're telling me right now you guys don't have that metric built into your pricing axes.
We don't. We already have a seats and tiers now, and but you're right. We need to build a lot of those in over time. We're just delivering value, and will evolve as time goes on.
Yeah, no, that makes good sense. Okay, good. Talk to me about how aggressive you're being to acquire new customers, right? So to get a new $75 a month seat, what's your fully weighted CAC look like?
The fully weighted CAC is about $7,000.
Okay, and how many? What is that contract size that $7,000 is landing?
So I'll give you an aggregate. So aggregate total lifetime, value, calculated obviously with gross margin, not top line revenue. So calculated the right way is about $35,000 on average across everyone from our tiniest to our biggest. So $7,000 CAC.
Okay, got it. Got it. So you're spending $7,000 obviously to get a $35,000 LTV, and that is with gross margin multiplied on the back side of it. So that's a conservative kind of LTV, which is how it's supposed to be calculated.
Yeah, absolutely. So investors hate it when you do it off the top line revenue. It makes you look bad, right?
Yeah. It all. I think context is important, but yeah, I always like to be conservative. I like gross margin there. Talk to me about a payback period though. So you spend $7,000. How quickly do you like to see that come back? Is it less than a year, more than a year, 24 months?
Well, right now it's 14 months.
Okay.
A pro forma over the next 5 years. As we bring investment in, we're going to invest in the growth curve. The payback will change based on different points in our company's future. Excuse me. But I would say right now it's 14 months, which is acceptable because we're in high growth.
Yeah. So 14 months, if you're spending $7,000, that would mean what? The average, the price point people are signing up for is something a little more than $7,000. What, like $7,500?
On average, people pay across from our tiniest clients to our biggest on average about $500 a month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically what's happening there, and this probably gets into Brian's world, is Brian, if each seat's $75 a month, you're selling, usually somewhere like 8, 9, 10 person seats all the way. And then I'm sure you have enterprises where it's hundreds or thousands of seats.
Right. Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Very good. Walk me through how you're landing these clients. So what's the strategy? Is there a big team behind Brian? A lot of outbound? What's it look like?
Yes, we've got a really creative model where Andy and I both come from a background of selling info products in the personal development space. Of course, Andy's background is in tech companies as well. But we'd worked together previously selling info products. I've got a big personal development background. And there was a company that we were doing really well, closing about $1 million a month in info sales, personal development products. So we decided to bring that to the SaaS model. So we've created a webinar that's an educational-based webinar that helps people and the value of proposals, some of the best practices in creating proposals that sell, that automatically onboard them and get them as a paying client of ours. From there, some of those folks will self-select into an upsell funnel. So we've got a team that's just helping us close the smaller deals. And then I've got a small team reaching out to the big, mid-market enterprise prospects as well.
Yeah. And on top of that, we have, a host of very large companies, people like Equifax, Principal Financial, Macmillan Publishing, Ortho Clinical Diagnostics, Securitas, the world leader in security, a lot of major corporations. And because we do info sales selling to the very small businesses, we can serve them. It's an incredible product for small companies, but also our focus when it comes to selling needs to be hand-to-hand selling, needs to be the largest enterprise companies. And really, what is that? That's strategic partner selling, change management within large enterprise corporations.
Guys, we're running out of time, but quickly, I'm curious. Have you broken past kind of profitability at this point? Are you or right at break even? How are you managing cash?
Now, we continue to burn slightly ahead of our revenue. I mean, we're at negative EBITDA, like you see a lot of the B2B SaaS companies.
How negative? Are you talking like $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month?
I can't talk about the specifics of it, but I'll say this, that the typical B2B SaaS company is going to be 5 to 7% negative EBITDA because they're getting free cash by getting annual upfront deals. Our goal in 2019 is 80% of all deals will be annual upfront paid. We want to leverage that cash as hard as we can. So right now we're negative in EBITDA, but we're doing it because strategically we can because we're growing fast enough to do it.
Yeah. I know you don't want to share how many customers you have. Can you share maybe a different metric, which is maybe how many users do you have actively using the platform?
I can't share that either, but it's many, 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 many thousands.
Okay. Of organizations or seats?
In terms of, seats and organizations, there's a lot more seats than organizations, but I really am not allowed to share. I'm not able to share the exact specifics.
Yeah, it's okay. You just said thousands though. So I mean, we can assume something in the thousands at that point.
Lots of thousands.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No, I mean, look, the reason I asked that, it helps me at least set a minimum, right? Even if you're way bigger than this, I mean, I can take, say, 2,000 at $75 a seat. You're north of 150 grand a month, right? I mean, that's a minimum.
Way up there.
Yeah, that's good. I won't force you to go more specific because you said before you didn't want to, so I won't push you there. But that's what I'll put as a minimum, and I'll make it very clear it's a minimum. All right, what's growth rate look like year over year?
So we are now at 40% year over year. We are pretty excited about what we've done this year. So 40% this year, and pro forma, we're looking very, very strong for next year. It could actually be higher growth rate, even though we're fairly mature in our growth.
Yeah, well, I hope it's faster if you're raising capital, right? That'll be expected. Yep. All right, guys, let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Okay, so I've got to say Scaling Up. It's a fantastic book. We read it. We love it. We think it's for a high growth entrepreneur, for your listeners, is probably the best book out there to help them in one little small package.
Brian,
Principles by Ray Dalio.
Good. I was going to throw the next one to you. Is there under the radar CEO that you're following or studying?
I would have to say that I really respect Jeff Bezos. I love to study what he does and how he does it. And so I give him today.
Brian, this one's for you. Favorite online tool for building the companies, maybe specifically the sales organization?
Apollo.
Okay, good. Andy, back to you. How many hours of sleep do you get every night?
6.
Okay, and then
up to 6. I was at 5.5, but I'm working on getting more hours.
Good. And Andy, you take us home here. What's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
I am married with a wonderful wife. Our 24th anniversary was 3 days ago. We have 3 great young men, 21, 20, and 18.
Congratulations. And how old are you, Andy?
I'm 56.
56. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I've spent a lot of years having a lot of fun. I was a pro basketball player. I worked for NBCGE. I was a television producer. But I've always loved internet, and what I will do as long as I possibly can, I'll never retire. It's growing small businesses, doing what I do today. I would have told myself at 20, get going with that now because it's what I love.
Guys, start sooner. Coming from Andy and Brian. Again, join the Client Point team after a rebrand just about a year ago. Now they're serving thousands of seats. They charge about $75 per seat. Company launched in 2008. They're getting new customers using a webinar strategy and then an upsell funnel. They are doing about 40% year over year growth over the trailing 12 months. Burning capital right now, call it -5 to -12% EBITDA margins there. 950 grand raised on a convertible note. They're rolling that or letting it go through to about 1.5 million, hoping to close in the next couple of months. 25 people in California and remote, about 15% logo churn per year. No strong expansion strategy yet, but they are developing that. Spending $7 grand to get a new customer, 14-month payback on a $35,000 lifetime value. Andy, Brian, thanks for taking us to the top.
Hey, thank you. Hey, listen, got one more thing if you got another 10 seconds.
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
If anyone's curious about seeing our webinar, it's clientpoint.net/createcash. And of course, it's not great for enterprise, but this is if somebody's a small business or anything, check it out.
We'll put that in the show notes for sure. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.